My name is Reshma Roy, and I have been with Zoho for the last 9 years. I head the marketing for Zoho's finance suite. During the last 9 years, we have rolled out several finance and operation-centric applications that help businesses manage their finance and operation side of the business, right? I have had immense opportunity to work with, the team that's building these tools. I have spoken to customers and partners, and this presentation is essentially my observations of the different interactions that I've had with customers and partners, and why I think every business should focus on technology that's customer-centric in nature. And especially when it comes to finance and operations tools, it's very important to have that bent of mind. Otherwise, what's going to happen is we'll just silo ourselves in department-centric approach and not really think about the customer. So that's the main agenda that I like to drive in this presentation. But before I kickstart, I have a question to ask all of you. This is a quick poll on what, according to you, is the most important factor driving exceptional customer experience. Balaji, could you please share the poll to all of the audience here? So we're just going to give a couple of more seconds for all the audience to answer. Customer experience can mean different things to different people. So there's no right or wrong answer. Whatever you think is fine, go ahead and do it. All right, with that, I'm moving on with my session. So I'm going to tell you the story of every founder in this audience who started their company, right? Now, each of those founders who are here, if you remember way back when you started your company, you were probably the first person who did everything for your company, right? You were the one who were running the sales department, the finance department, the marketing, the customer support department, right? And slowly, when the workload increased, you started hiring more people. And over time, each of these people were put into different sections, and these structures started forming different departments. And the goal of each of these departments was to make sure that the work that was part of that department was done efficiently. So all the work revolved around the departments. Department's goal was to make sure the processes were efficient. They were using technology that made those processes a lot simpler. So where's the problem in this basically? Because that's how every company is structured today, right? You take every company, you take even Zoho. Every company has departments, departments have people, and the work is revolved around that. Now, as I mentioned, where do we see the problem here, right? Now, this is a classic example that most of the customers experience today. So here's a customer who's basically trying to find out, if his product has been shipped. So he reaches out to support on chat, and because the customer support agent does not have information on that particular order, he keeps passing on the customer to the different departments, or he keeps saying, I don't have the information, but I'll get back to you. So this is a classic scenario where the customer is not very happy because he came asking for a specific question, like finding answers to that, but he was not able to get that. And that's why customers are dissatisfied about the disconnect in the departments, because according to the customers, when they think about a company, they look at the company in the entirety, right? They are not looking at the company made up of different departments. A customer has a problem and he comes looking for a solution. He doesn't care whether it's the problem of the finance team or the support team or the marketing team, right? He looks at you and as the company. Now, so what's new in this? This is something that we have known all along, right? Like customer is the king. But if you notice, in the last couple of years, there has been a renewed focus on customer centricity among businesses. And that's primarily because there are three trends which are forcing every business to focus on the customer experience. Let's talk about the first one. The first one is the adoption of technology. Now, let's meet this person. His name is Manish, right? Now, a customer of today has access to multiple devices and multiple platforms and different communities. He can ask a question to anyone about a product or a service, and he's going to get answers to that immediately. So this consumer of today is highly knowledgeable and highly aware of their options, right? Let's talk about the second trend. The second trend is increased competition. Increased competition is also forcing businesses to be more customer centric. Now, why is that? Now, if you take a look at a typical purchase funnel, right, you have different stages. A classic marketing session will explain that your customers, when they evaluate your solutions or products, they go through different stages. There is an awareness stage, there is an interest stage, consideration, intake, and it boils down all the way to your purchase stage. Now, during the evaluation stage and purchase stages, where there are multiple factors that come into the picture when it comes to the purchase decision. Now, here are some of those factors. They'll think about the customer reviews. They'll think about the quality of the product. How convenient is it to access the product or use it? What is the price of the product? And is there any socio-economic, angle to that? Now, at the end of the day, it all boils down to these three factors: your product, your price, and your customer service. And to be honest, today, in this time and age, your product and price really are a commodity. Whatever you price, whatever is the price of a product that you see today, is probably the same price for another product of a different brand. So it all boils down to the customer experience that you're providing to your consumers, right? And this is important because this was said way back by Jerry Breguier, who was the ex-CIO of Dell. So this is a quote that he said way back in 1999. He said that customer experience is going to be the next competitive battleground. It's not going to be your product, and it's not definitely the price, and it's definitely going to be the customer experience. And that's the reason why every company, every department should worry about the customer experience that the company is offering. Coming to the third trend. The third trend is something that you and I easily relate to. This is the changing customer expectation, right? Now, if you look at the evolution of consumers, way back in 1990s, if you wanted to buy a product, you'll go to the shop, and when the shopkeeper tells you, the benefits of the product, that's when you are probably listening to it for the first time. In 2010, there was an explosion of social media sites and community sites where, you could go online and ask peers. You could ask your friends, I want to buy this product. Do you have any opinion on that? In 2020, we are in an era where we already know what we want. We demand that, and we are highly aware of our options. And not just that, we make sure that if we are not given something that we want, or basically if our expectations are not met, we will share it with our friends and peers as well, right? So the evolution of consumer purchase or shopping in general has changed a lot. And here's a study which was done by Northridge Group in 2019. It basically said that 72% of consumers today are likely to switch a brand, your brand, to a competitor brand if they get just one bad experience, right? So it becomes even more important to make sure that every single touch point that your customer has with your company is addressed and taken care of, so that you don't give a chance to your competitor to take this customer away, right? Now, this is where I like to wrap up the first segment of my presentation, right? So why is there so much of renewed focus on customer centricity? Simply because there is high expectation from your customers. They are aware of their options, and more importantly, they will share their experience with other people, to your prospects. Moving on to the second segment. Now that we've understood that customer experience is important, how can you really understand a customer's journey? Now, this is a classic customer journey. So earlier, when you looked at the purchase funnel, we were talking about your stages from your awareness all the way till your purchase. But a customer's journey doesn't end here. A customer's journey essentially begins all the way from the awareness till advocacy and beyond, right? So you have to make sure that every step that a customer gets in touch with you is taken care of by your company, your salespeople, your support people, and the people at the back end who are supporting them, right? So this, what you see on the screen, is highly complex, but let me try to simplify it for you. So this is the stages that we were talking about earlier. This is the awareness, consideration, acquisition, service, and advocacy, right? So every stage has multiple steps over here, and each of these steps has the help from different departments of your organization, right? So you have your marketing department, your sales department, support department, and you also have your finance and logistics department. Now, this is why I specifically wanted to highlight your finance and operations department, because These departments also play a role in your customer's journey, right from the time, let's say, this is an example of an e-commerce platform. So right from the time a person checks out from your shop, checks out a product from your online store, all the way till the product has been received, and if the product was damaged and if they try to return it, that entire journey and that entire touch point has to be taken care of. It's not the responsibility of the customer support person alone, to address the queries of the customer. You have to make sure that all these touch points are taken care of with respect to digitizing these platforms, making sure that information is passed on correctly to these people so that they can help the frontline staff to help the consumer at the end of the day. Now, this particular customer journey that you see is very, very unique to e-commerce. Likewise, if you are a service-based company or if you are a SaaS company, you'll have a separate customer journey. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to map your own customer journey and put the touch points and the steps and see if every department is in sync with the customer's journey. And that's pretty much what I've covered over here. We're talking about, every industry having a unique customer journey. There are different touch points over here. And more importantly, it is shared by multiple departments. Moving on to my third segment, which is delivering customer happiness, right? Now, this is what we really want to understand. How can you deliver customer happiness? This is where I think we need to lay importance and stress on the importance of feedback forms, right? It's very important to listen to the customers, and even more important is to take actions for that. On any day, if you look at your inbox, you will be getting hundreds of feedback forms, right? Sometimes you do respond to them, sometimes you don't. And once you take the effort to actually fill out a form, you as a customer are not sure if your feedback is actually being taken seriously, right? So that's where it's important that a company and an organization make sure to get back to the customer and to thank them for the feedback that they have shared. And here's a company, Zappos, that have taken that very seriously. So Zappos is a company which basically is an e-commerce platform where you can buy shoes. It started off like that, and now they have obviously branched into a lot of other segments as well. But Zappos is very popular for providing on-time customer support, and there has been multiple case studies written around Zappos. In fact, this is a book that I'll definitely recommend you to read if you want to know more about customer experience. So long story short, the way how Zappos transformed their business is, as I mentioned, Zappos is an e-commerce platform, right? They are a distributor of shoes, which they procure from multiple vendors and they deliver it to customers. So the way how they worked on a dropship model, which basically means that they will get orders from their customers on the online platform. They will pass on those orders to the vendors, and the vendors will then ship the products to the customers. So when the operation started running, Zappos slowly started getting feedback from the customers that the products were not getting delivered on time and there were late shipments. So what Zappos executives did was, first thing, they made sure they were in complete control of the inventory, so that they completely avoided the dropship model, because that was impacting their customer experience. So first thing, they built a warehouse, they procured the items from the vendors, and they started delivering products on time to the customers. So that's something that their customers were extremely happy about. The second thing was the vendor management. Now, if you are a platform where you are procuring items from vendors, right? You have to always make sure that your platform is having no stockouts, which basically means that you have items available all the time so that your customers can purchase from them, right? Now, here's where vendors basically suggested to Zappos that, is there any way that we can see visibility on the orders that's coming for our products? So that's where Zappos opened up a portal for their vendors to see how many orders are coming for their particular products. And this gave them a visibility on, how much of stock needs to be always sent to Zappos, so that Zappos could make sure that their site was always optimum, right? So by making sure these back-end operations are optimized, they were able to deliver an exceptional customer experience to their customers. They made sure that shipments were done on time. They made sure that the returns and refunds were also managed on time. And over and above that, their exceptional staff are also a key highlight for building what Zappos is known for today. So for folks who haven't heard about Zappos, or folks who would like to know more about Zappos, please read this book, and it is a great, great example to understand how to improve, customer experience. And the reason why I'm saying, back-end operations are important is here's another study that was done by Capgemini. And they basically said that if you take a look at all the feedback that is coming to your company by your customers, 60% of that would have originated in the back office. It could be an order information that was incorrectly shipped. It could be an incorrect invoice that was sent out. It could also be because of the payment failures that are happening. But when you drill deeper, broadly speaking, 60% of those, feedback originates around your back office operations. And that's why it's important to make sure that you have the feedback loop. It's not enough to just send a feedback form, and just keep it and pile it up. But it's more important to collect the feedback, review it, and act on it. And when you do all the three, you will make sure that whatever concerns your customers have raised, you will be able to act upon it and deliver that quality of service that your customers are demanding. So let's come to the main segment of your presentation, right? So how can back office technology really help you win and retain customers? Now here, we are going to talk about the different applications or the technologies that are available today for you to make sure that you're offering that good service that your customers can expect from you, right? So back office technology typically impacts three broad segments. Now, I have structured it in this way. So it impacts your customers, your employees, and your business, right? So it's not just your customers that we are going to talk about. We're talking about how back office technology will also impact your employees, which is your sales, your support team, your finance team also, and also how overall all of this will have an impact on your business. So let's talk about the customers first. Now, here I want to share a recent experience that I had with a customer support of a company, right? Now, as you all know, I mean, once the lockdown started, I'm sure all of you also would have started on ordering goods online. And, I had a recent experience with Amazon where I went ahead and I had ordered an item and I wanted to cancel the item. So it's a pretty simple request. I wanted to cancel the item, but I wanted to make sure that it's not been shipped out. So I reached out to Amazon's customer support. They have this very nice chat feature. So I clicked on the chat button, and very soon I was able to talk to a human over there. And this gentleman came up and he told me, if you like, I'll cancel your order. And no questions asked. He didn't ask me if I was unhappy with the vendor or if I was unsure about the product. He just went ahead and canceled my order. And then I asked him, what about the refunds? Will it be given? Because this new concept of, wallet credits and, credits will be given to me as a customer. So I asked him, how about the refunds? So again, he said that, refunds would be initiated in a couple of days time and it hit my account very quickly. So I was happy. So we spoke about he canceled my order. He also refunded the amount that was associated with the order. And finally, I also had a question about a completely different product of Amazon, but I did ask him, hey, do you know the renewal of my Amazon Prime account? So he said just 2 minutes, and in less than 2 minutes, he came back with my renewal dates also. So all of these things were sorted in less than 10 minutes, right? Now, I didn't have to pick up the phone to call the customer agent or wait online or, email them. I could just go ahead and chat with the customer support online and get answers to all of these three questions in less than 10 minutes. Now, in a typical company, Amazon wouldn't be a good example over here because they are giants and they have deep pockets, right? But if you take any small SMB company, they may not have so much of workforce or high-tech technology available to support their customers, right? But what I'd like to highlight here is the same scenario. If we are to, compare and do it with any other SMB company, a typical customer support agent would normally tell the customer that, can I get back to you in some time because I need to talk to the vendors to make sure that they have not shipped out the product. I need to check with the finance person to discuss about the refund process. And I'll also need to talk to my other department to figure out, when is your renewal date, right? Now, in this case, the customer support agent had information about all of these things and they knew how to offer that customer experience. And that's pretty much, I guess, what each of you also would have experienced with any other company that you would have, purchased from recently. So this is where I like to actually take a pause, and I want each one of you to think about a recent experience that you had with any company, which was actually good. Take a moment. This experience could be good. It could be on anything. Just think about, what is that one thing that made you think that it was a good experience? Right? All right. So moving on, we were talking about the impact of back office technology on customers. Now, when I say customers, again, I like to recall the customer journey that I had shown earlier. So we were talking about a sales journey all the way from awareness to purchase. And now this is where I like to highlight where the back office technology can really help you help your customers, right? Most of the customers have questions around the order status, the payments, the returns or the refunds, and the transactions, right? These are some of the common questions that come across. Now, this is how back office technology can actually help customers. First things first, if you can allow your customers to help themselves, that will be the most, I would say that will be the best thing that can happen, right? That's because customers of today are expecting answers instantly, and they don't want to really get in touch with you unless they have to. So if you can provide them easy ways for them to access their information, they'll be very happy with you as a company. So that's where it's important to use technologies like, customer service portals, which can actually provide a different level of customer experience altogether. So right here, I'll actually want to run a poll question. I want to ask you if you offer a self-service portal for your customers. Balaji, can you please run the poll number 2? Think of a self-service portal as something that your customers can log in to get information about their different interactions that they've had with you, or the past transactions, or the ability to make online payments, right? So if you have offered such self-service portal to your customers, can you please check one of the options? Awesome. So now let's take a look at the results as well. Balaji, can you please share the results with the audience here? Shankar, I'm probably going to need your help because I can't see the poll results. Hi, Shankar, you're there?
I believe we have a tech issue in sharing the results. Balaji, can you just cross-check, please?
Okay.
Never mind. Carry on.
The results to, yeah.
The results are this, like 70% of them do not offer a self-service portal to the customers, and 30% do.
Okay, great. Now this is a good start because now I'm going to show you why it's even more important for you to offer a self-service portal to your customers, right? So in the coming slides, I'm going to show you different scenarios, how portals can basically help your customers. So here goes the first one. A self-service portal can basically help your customer to, update their information. There have been many times when the customers would like to update their shipping address or billing address so that, the orders reach them in correct time and in the correct place, right? So a self-service portal can basically help you solve all those problems. They don't have to reach out to support. They can just log in and update their information right over here. So you'll see something called as a GST treatment and GST number over here. That's something very particular to India. So even if your customers want to update that information, they can actually go ahead and do that using the customer portal. Now, here's the second scenario. Now, if you are a business owner that's selling your product on Amazon or any other popular e-commerce channel, then it's easier because those platforms already have a tracking system. However, if you are selling on your online store, maybe built on Zoho Commerce, then you have a functionality called the portal, which you can give to your customers where they can track the order status. And in fact, they can actually go ahead and cancel the order if they want and give you a reason for why they have cancel the order. Let's look at another scenario. Now, this is very unique to companies which run on a subscription model. Now, if you are, let's say, if you are using Netflix or if you're using Amazon Prime and you would like to go ahead and cancel the subscription, you have today, because of all these companies, you can actually go into your account and you can, pause or cancel the subscription, right? Now, let's take a small SMB, which has started out, let's say, a library subscription platform, right? Now, if a customer of this library has to tell them, hey, can you cancel my subscription? They'll probably have to drop an email or we'll have to call this company, asking the support agent to cancel the subscription. But by providing a portal, they are actually helping the customer to go ahead and cancel the subscription whenever they want. So this is actually a great benefit for such companies which run on a subscription model. And then this is another good example that I'd like to highlight over here. As I mentioned in a couple of slides earlier, most of the questions that come to your support desk, if you closely analyze them, it'll be all around your back office information. And this is something which stands out, because this is again one of the questions that customers usually ask: how much is my outstanding invoice? How much is the credits available to me? Right now, if you are a B2B business, and if you have a customer with whom you have been, you have worked with in the past, and there are a couple of open invoices, right? So sometimes customers will ask you, hey, can you send me a consolidated bill so that I can go ahead and make a bulk payment? So instead of all those mail conversations, you can completely get rid of that by giving them access to the portal, where they can go ahead and check out the outstanding invoices. In fact, it's not just checking the outstanding invoices. They can actually look at all the past transactions which they have had with your company, all your estimates, all your invoices, all the payments that they have made. So the portal can also provide a detailed account of every past transaction that a customer has had with the company. And not just that, online portals are also a great platform where your customers can actually go ahead and make online payments. Now, online payments are not a new thing. In fact, in the last couple of months, if you see, there has been a rising trend in the adoption of online payments, especially in India. If you see, people want to pay online and they no longer want to use cash, right? So whenever you start offering your customers the ability to make online payments, you have to make sure that you partner with a payment gateway that offers you all these payment modes. And when I say payment modes, this is what I'm referring to. I'm talking about, payment modes like your credit card, debit card, net banking, which is something very popular in India. You have your wallets also, and your UPI as well, right? So make sure the payment gateway that you partner with is offering you all these payment modes, because this, at the end of the day, offers a lot more convenience to your customers. So we've spoken about the impact of back office technology on customers. And the first thing which I'll advise you to start using is the client portal. Let's come to the second thing. Second thing is, try to use chatbots wherever possible to help your customers, right? Now, let me show you an example of how LIC, which is using a chatbot. But before we go to that, I'll actually want to run a quick poll over here. Balaji, can you run a third poll over here? Now, this will be interesting because chatbots is something that not many use, but customers have really started taking and using this particular tool on websites. I have frequently tried chatbot in my interactions with a lot of websites that I usually visit. So if you have tried a chatbot on the website of a company, or let's assume even this scenario where you have ordered something from Swiggy or Zomato, and you had to interact with somebody on chat. Please remember, this is not a live chat, this is a chat bot.
Go ahead.
All right, great.
45% have not used a chatbot, 45% have.
Wow, okay, that's almost like a 50-50 kind of a thing. I'm excited. I mean, it's so good to see that a lot of people over here have started using chatbots for their customers. For folks who haven't, let me just quickly show you, how some of the companies are using chatbots for their customers. So here's an example. This is a Zobot, which is actually powered by Sales IQ. So chatbots can essentially be used in multiple ways when it comes to back office operations, right? So if you're an e-commerce platform, you can actually help your customers find out where their packages are. They just need to come and enter that order number, and quickly the chatbot can tell you what is the current shipment state. So how chatbots really help is, a lot of businesses don't have a lot of workforce available to support customers. So chatbots can actually take up all of these basic questions, and it can relieve your core employees to be free from all these questions, and they'll take the brunt of the common questions that come. In fact, if you analyze the feedback that customers have been sending, and if you have a list of commonly asked questions, you can actually put it up in your chatbot. And whenever customers come asking for those questions, right, that you can actually associate specific keywords, and you can show up a message, whether it is to a FAQ that you have built, or it can be to the landing page that you have built, or it could be the order itself, right? Here's how LIC has actually done it. So I had gone to the LIC is basically Life Insurance Corporation. For folks who are from outside India, this is one of the very popular insurance companies in India. So I actually went to LIC's website and I wanted to inquire if they collect online payments, right? So if you see, the response that LIC has given is actually an information that is there in their frequently asked questions section, right? So this is an interaction that's happening completely with a chatbot, and I have not had to interact with a salesperson or a support person over here. So this is why I feel that for a lot of questions that customers come asking for your relating to your back office, you can make use of chatbots so that you can free up your support staff to focus on more complex scenarios. Now let's come to the third part, right? We're talking about impact of technology on customers. We spoke about the benefit of self-service portals. We spoke about chatbots. Now let's talk about how live chat itself can be beneficial to the customers. But here, remember, we're talking about live chat from a finance perspective. So we were talking about offering a client portal to your customers, right? Now on the screen, what you see here is basically the integration of. Yeah,
Reshma, sorry to interrupt. Can you stay connection again, please? We're having a crackle on our end. Can you cross the connection again?
Just a
And
moment.
could you just get close to the mic a bit, please?
Okay. Is it better?
Thank you. Much better. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Shankar. Okay. So folks, on the screen, what you see right now is actually the client portal, and the small pop-up that you see right over here is the chat bot available where a finance team, a member of your finance team, can actually go ahead and help your customer directly and solve their questions on, the invoices or the payments or the orders or anything that has come in. So what this is really doing is you are empowering your finance team members to help the customers directly about the questions that's pertaining to their department. And what you're avoiding in this process is you don't have to make your customers wait, and you don't have to make your support staff worry about, dropping an email to the finance team and getting the information from them. So if you use these technologies like an integrated platform where a client portal is made available to customers, and you also have an integrated live chat option where your finance team can directly talk to your customers, these things will solve a lot of problems and will drastically reduce the number of support tickets that are coming your way. This is another scenario. Now, what you see on the screen here is essentially a contextual collaboration platform that we talk about. So if you see, this is again the screen of our client portal, and right over here is an estimate which is being seen by a customer. And over here are the different conversations that the customer has had with the finance department. Now, why do we say it's a contextual support? It's because if you think of an experience that you have had in the past, right, and if you want to inquire about an invoice or an order that you have made with another company, you'll probably have to give the entire context of that transaction with the company support representative, right? You'll have to talk about the order ID, you'll have to talk about what was the last conversation around it. But when you use something like a client portal, like for instance, if I'm the customer, I go ahead and make a comment over here, it will immediately pop up in the accounting solution that the company is using, and the finance person can directly respond to the customer. So this is another useful thing that you can probably start using for your customers if you haven't already. So let's move on to the second segment where we're talking about how back office technology will help your employees, right? Now, this is important because I don't know how many of you have heard about employee experience, but employee experience, just like your customer experience, is essentially the different touch points that your employees come across in their journey with your organization. That's right from the time they are hired all the way till they leave your organization, right? And it's extremely important because if you're somebody who is from the HR department, this is a hot trending topic, and which was earlier in the 4th position, and now in 2019 it has reached all the way until the 2nd position. So employee experience is a very, very important topic, and it's simply important because happy employees at the end of the day will bring happy customers. And if you want to know more about it, I would definitely recommend you to read this book called Employee Experience Advantage. It's written by Jacob Morgan. And he essentially sums it up that to provide a good experience to your employee, you need to make sure that the cultural environment, the physical environment, and the technological environment is perfect, right? And in this scenario where everybody is working remotely, right, there is no more a concept of a physical environment. And the entire culture that you have built for your organization is also now translated to the virtual world. So there is all the more importance given to technology that your employees are using on a day-to-day basis to get their job done. And that's why I would like to stress here that the technology that your employees use, your salespeople, your support people, and your finance people, every technology that your employees use should be collaborative in nature. It should be connected, contextual, and employee-driven. Now, let me show you what it really means. But before that, I had this one last poll, which I'd like to run here. Balaji, could you please run this poll? Have you integrated your finance and sales support systems? I mean, if you have even connected just your sales or finance or your support and your finance, please go ahead and select yes. Balaji, can you also share the results, please?
So 38% have actually gone ahead and done that. There are 22% who are in the process of doing it, and the rest haven't.
Nice. Okay, so this is actually a positive sign. I'm glad to hear that many over here in the audience have actually done it. Okay, so here are some more examples of how back office technology can help provide better insights to your support staff, right? So if you are somebody who has been attending the Zoho log series and you had attended the first session, which was done by Mr. Rajendran, you would have noticed that we spoke about, the benefits of integrated platform and how it connects different departments, right? So right on the screen here is the screen of our CRM solution, which is mostly used by the sales representatives. So on the screen, the highlighted area actually shows you a package which was shipped to your customers. So if assume there is a customer and he calls up the salesperson to ask him, can you tell me the status of my package? The salesperson doesn't have to worry about contacting, the delivery team or the operations staff. He can just log into the CRM portal, check out the customer contact information, and find out the status of the package, whether it has been shipped, or at least he'll find out the tracking ID and then, check the status. But advanced technology has also provided an option to even tell you exactly which location the package is, right? So this is an information which is available to your salesperson so that he can answer your customer right there on the spot. Now, here's another benefit. This is specifically in the case of a support person who is actually reaching out to your customer, a support person who is being reached out by a customer. Let's say the customer reaches out to support and asks, I don't have the past invoice that your company has sent me. Can you send it to me once again? And this support person would probably again have to pass on that question to the finance department, reinitiating that conversation and telling them to send the invoice. But when the support person actually logs into this integrated tool, he can actually see all the past invoices and the transactions of the customer, and he is empowered to send the invoice right from here itself. So this is again a very interesting solution that you can use for your business, where you can actually tell your customer, you can give insights to your support and your sales staff about the finance transactions that your customers have had with your company. Now let's talk about the insights that can help your sales to sell better, right? Now, for any salesperson to sell something to a customer, they have to get the complete picture of, who the customer is, how did they come to know about us, what are the products that they are, what products did they show interest in, did they buy anything at all from your company or not in the past, have they reached out to customer support, and finally, have they shared any feedback, right? So only if you really know about the customer can you sell something better to them. Now, with our CRM and our finance applications integrated, what you're really helping your sales staff with is the information about your past purchase transactions, and you're also helping them prioritize on your customers. For example, salespeople usually have deadlines that they have to work towards, right? And they have to close deals faster. So they can, by knowing or having this information, their finance information, they can decide whether should they put their effort on a customer who is always prompt on payments, or should they work hard to get sales to a customer who is kind of having a very big outstanding amount with your company, right? So sometimes in certain companies, salespeople also have commissions which are tied to the money that has been received by the finance department. In such cases, a salesperson can easily take a call. Now, there's customer A and there's customer B. If the customer A is always prompt on making payments, then I'll rather focus all my energy on customer A to sell an item to them rather than focus on customer B, who probably is not very prompt on paying time. And then my commission at the end of the day gets impacted, right? So such kind of information can help your salespeople to prioritize the customers so that they can make faster sales decisions. This is another screen that I wanted to show. This is the screen again of a CRM tool where a salesperson can actually see the past orders or the past purchases that a customer has made. How this information can really help your sales staff is that they can understand when a customer has bought an item, and based on that, in the subsequent interval or the period, they can actually ask their marketing team, to run a campaign. Or in fact, with the integrated platform, your marketing team itself can run the campaign again to make sure you have those customers coming back again to you to purchase the item. Now, the third important benefit to your employees is the fact that there is reduced data entry. Imagine this scenario. You have your sales department, you have your finance department, and you have your support department, right? At the end of the day, all of them are entering the same data in different systems if you are having a disconnected technology, right? Now, if your entire company is using a platform which is all synced and integrated, then the first time that the salesperson enters the customer information, it will be immediately made available to every other department contextually. So when a finance person actually logs into their accounting solution, they will be able to find this contact information over there. And not just that, they can also find out what are the different estimates or the quotes that have been sent to this customer by your sales department, right? So that's how it helps your employees in reduced data entry. There is a lot of automation also that can be enabled at the back end as well. Now let's come to the final segment. This is where we are going to talk about how back office technology will really help your business itself as a whole. Now, first of all, by helping your employees use better technology, you're overall improving the employee experience. And that's important because when your employees are happy, it leads to better service standards, right? Now, when you have better service standards, that obviously leads to happy customers. And it's a no-brainer. When you have happy customers, they are going to come back to you again for your products or for your repeat service, right? And that's how you can make sure that you have an increased LTV, which is your lifetime value of your customers, and you can always get that high score on your NPS. So if you are using technology for your employees, that eventually will impact your customer experience. I think it's really good for your business. The second important benefit for a business perspective is the fact that by using an integrated platform, you're reducing the friction between the departments, right? There's always a clash between your sales and your finance team, or between your support team and your sales and finance again. So that all of these frictions are usually because of information is not being made available to the different department people to provide help to the customers on time. Now, by using a solution that is all connected, each and every frontline staff will have access to information that they need to service your customers better. And finally, with the help of an integrated platform, you're also helping yourself as the founder or the leadership staff to get the information at a department level, at a customer level, and also at the company level. So by using tools like Zoho Analytics, you can actually connect your CRM, which your sales uses, your Zoho Books, which your accounting uses, and at the end of the day, Desk, which your support agents uses, right? And you can create any kind of dashboard that you want and get the information instantly. So you don't have to worry about the MIS reports that come to you on email to create the dashboards. by using Zoho Analytics with all of the other platforms, you will be able to get instant insights and make decisions faster based on that. So just to summarize our fourth segment that we're talking about, the impact of back office technology. First things first, you have to provide, use tools like self-service portals, chatbots, and live chat to help your customers, so that they can help themselves. Second most important thing is you have to make sure that you have technology available for employees which are online, which provide contextual information so that they can do their job better, which overall will increase the employee experience itself. And finally, by doing all of this, you're also improving your business performance. So now that I have spoken so much, right, now where do you start? So we have done the polls and we know that some of you have already started using portals. We know some of you are using an integrated platform and some of you are not. But for those who have probably not done any of these, the first things that you should probably do is identify the manual processes across your departments, right? So wherever you have your support agent or sales agent or finance departments also manually entering data, make sure that you're digitizing them. You're using an online platform to record the transactions and it is being made available to people, right? So first of all, identify and then digitize those processes. Second thing, what you have to do is you have to make sure that every touch point in your customer's journey is digitized, right? So we are talking about the first point that I mentioned earlier was every process in your department has to be digitized. Now I'm specifically referring to the touch points in your customer's journey have to be digitized. So wherever a customer gets in touch with your company, it could be the website, it could be the payment that they are making online, or it could be a return, a product order that they'd like to return, right? So all of these touch points have to be digitized now. And finally, build a tech stack. So when I say build a tech stack or choose a tech stack, you have to make sure that you're selecting a product from a company that will easily fit around your workflow. So you don't have to worry about, changing your workflows based on, how the technology works. Identify tools that really will fit your workflows instead of doing the reverse. So these are the 3 points that I actually want to, leave you all with. Identify the manual processes, digitize those touch points that your customers have, and finally, use an integrated platform to connect all your departments to offer an amazing customer experience to your customers.